Proceed, Mr. Gilmer.
Robinson, you were convicted for 30 days for disorderly conduct, weren't you?
Yes, sir.
How did nigger look like when you got through with him?
Well, I was beaten up, sir.
But you were convicted, weren't you?
Objection! It was a misdemeanor and it's in the records.
Witness will answer though.
I got 30 days, sir.
You're pretty good at busting up chifferos and handling with one hand, aren't you?
Yes, sir, I reckon.
Strong enough to choke the breath out of a woman and bring her down to the floor, aren't you?
I've never done that, sir.
Very strong enough, aren't you?
I reckon so.
You had your eye on her for a long time, haven't you, boy?
I never looked at her.
Then you're mighty polite to do all the chopping and hauling for her, aren't you?
I was just trying to help her.
That's mighty generous of you. Don't you have work at home, the chores at home after work?
Yes, sir.
Then you might have been pretty busy, weren't you?
Yes, sir. Didn't both.
Well, that was mighty generous of you. Didn't you have chores at home after your regular work, boy?
Yes, sir.
Then why didn't you do them instead of Mrs. Yule's?
I didn't both, sir.
Well, you might have been mighty busy. Why?
Why what, sir?
Why were you so anxious to do that woman's chores?
Looked like she didn't have any help.
With Mr. Yule and 7 other children.
Well, I says that they didn't help her none.
And you did this all from the goodness of your heart, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
Well, you're a mighty good fellow, it seems. And you did all of this without a single penny?
I felt sorry for her. I just didn't want to help her.
You felt sorry for her. You felt sorry for her. Now, you went by the house as usual, 21st of November, and she asked you to come in and bust off a chifro, didn't she?
No, sir.
Are you denying you went by the house?
No, sir. She says that she had something for me to do inside.
Miss Yule testified that she asked you to bust off a chifro.
No, sir, it ain't. It ain't right.
Are you saying she's lying, boy?
I don't think he's lying, Mr. Gilmer. I just think she's mistaken in her mind.
No. Didn't Mr. Yule run you off, boy?
I don't know, sir. I don't think so.
Don't think. What do you mean?
I don't think I stayed long enough so he could run me off.
You're very candid about this. Why did you run off?
I says I was scared, sir.
Scared. But if you had a clear conscience, why were you scared?
Well, I think it wasn't safe for any nigger to be in a fix like that.
But you weren't in a fix. You testified that you were resisting Mr. Yule. So you were so scared that she hurt you, that you ran off, a big buck like you?
I was scared I had to face court, like I'm facing now.
Scared of arrest then? You were scared that you had to face the consequences of what you did?
No, sir, I was scared of facing the consequences that what I didn't do.
Are you being imprudent to me, boy?
No, sir, in any means. Come on, Bill, let's go out.
Bill, come over here, under this tree. It got you, I expect. It was just him who got me.
Who? Tom?
Mr. Gilmer and his hateful way to talk.
But Dale, that's his work. If we didn't have prosecutors, we wouldn't have defense attorneys, I reckon.
I know all that, Scott, but it was the way that he talked to him that got me sick. Plain sick.
He was supposed to do that. He was just cross-examining.
He didn't talk that way when...
Well, those were his own witnesses.
Mr. Finch didn't talk that way to Mael and old man Yule.
Well, after all, he's just a Negro.
I don't care. It ain't right.
Well, that's just Mr. Gilmer's ways, you know? I don't think he was half trying this time.
Mr. Finch doesn't.
I know, but you know, he's not a good example. He behaves the same way in public that he does in court.
know what I mean?
I know what you mean, but you're not thin-hearted. It just makes you sick, doesn't it? Come right here, son. I got something that'll quiet your stomach. Here.
You better watch out now, Dale.
It's just Coca-Cola, Scott.
You little folk won't tell on me now, will you? It'll ruin my reputation.
Do you mean you just drink Coca-Cola, just plain Coca-Cola?
Yes, mister. That's what I drink most of the time.
Then why are you half... I'm so sorry, sir. I didn't want to be the specter or nothing. Why do you do like you do?
Oh, yes. You mean why do I pretend? Well, it's very simple. Most people don't like the way I live. I could say the hell with them. I don't care if they don't like it. I do say that I don't care if they don't like it, but I don't say to hell with them. You see?
No, sir.
Uno. I try to give them a reason, you see? It helps people if they can latch out to something. If I come to town, if I wave a little and drink out of my bottle, people will say, Mr. Raymond's on the clutches of whiskey. He can't help himself.
But that ain't honest, Mr. Raymond. Making people think you're better than that you already are.
It might not be honest, but it's mighty helpful. Secretly, Mr. Finch, I'm not much of a drinker.
But why are you telling us all this?
Because you're children, and you can understand this. And because I heard this one, things haven't caught up with his instincts yet. Give him a few years and he won't get sick and cry. Maybe he'll feel things aren't quite right, but he won't get sick and cry.
Cry about what, Mr. Raymond?
Cry about the simple hell people give one another. Cry about the hell white people give colored folk without even thinking that they're people too.
Mr. Atticus said that cheating colored folk is 10 times worse than cheating on white folk. In my opinion, it's the worst thing you can do.
I don't reckon, John Luis. You don't know your past, not a run-of-the-mill man. A run-of-the-mill man. It'll take a few years for that to sink in. You haven't seen enough of the world yet. You haven't even seen this town. But all you gotta do is step back inside the courthouse.
Right. It's almost noon, right? Well, come, Dale.
Thank you a lot for the drink, Mr. Raymond.
Let's go to court.
What happened? What do we miss?
So that's the point that I'm trying to make. And with the court's permission, I will try to get comfortable.
Go ahead.
Gentlemen, I shall breathe. But I would like to reduce my remaining time to remind you that this case in particular is not a difficult one. You don't need to manage any sifting details and also facts, but instead, you need to understand the charges that are being in question to Mr. Tom Robinson and the whole story. Firstly, this case should have never reached the state of a trial. It's as simple as understanding the black and the white. There has been no medical evidence, not one iota, to prove the charges that are being sent into Tom Robinson. Instead, they have relied on two witnesses, which their answer has been very, very highly questionable because they're contradictory to the defense's claims. I'm saying right now that Tom Robinson is not guilty, but somebody in the courtroom is. When a woman tries to put a man's life at stake just to cover her guilt, and gentlemen, I say guilt, because guilt is what motivated her. And she persisted on breaking a moral code of our society. She persisted on doing something she knew it was wrong. But then, she was eaten by poverty and by acknowledgement. So then, what did she do? She tried to get rid of all the evidence against her. So then, what did she do? She tried to get rid of all the evidence against her. And then what did she do? She tempted a Negro. To Mayela, no code mattered before everything came crashing down on her. And then, going back to the facts, based on all the evidence I was giving along the trial, the rapist had a good left hand. And then, before the trial had started, the Ewells, as a God-fearing man, they solemnly swore to the Bible to tell the truth. So then, Tom Robinson also did it, but he used his only good hand, his right. But then, we all know that Mayela and also both of the Ewells in general, they both had ideologies that thought that black people are worse and black people always lie. And then, just to finish, Thomas Jefferson once said that all men are created equally. I have to describe that because all men are not the same. They all have different intentions, but that doesn't mean that their race will determine how bad they are or how good they are. Any man who has approached a woman also has desire to speak to them or do any things or get into a relation. So now I say to everyone in the court who thinks that the court is the place to tell the truth and the court is the place to tell everything you need to know and the jury is the one to speak, then do the job. Please God, do their job.